All right, so we're out here with Keano, and we're going to kind of just go over some of the basic stuff that we introduce. I think the main concerns that we're working on with him is his jumping. He gets a little overexcited. He also just kind of has a lack of coping skills for certain situations that cause him to be really excited. So one, when he sees people and he wants to greet people, he gets so excited, he just doesn't have like the coping skills to deal with those things. And if he can't get to those things especially, he has a little bit of like what we would call barrier frustration. So if he can't get to somebody, that causes him to kind of have a little bit of a hard time. So we want to get him some coping skills. We want for things that are exciting and learning how to deal with triggers. And we also just kind of want to get some clarity for him, because I think he gets a little bit confused and he's not sure kind of what to do in those situations. So just getting some basic foundation and some clarity in that. I'm also a little concerned because I don't know how well his hair is a little bit overgrown. That can actually be a pretty important thing to kind of make sure that his face is clear, because one of the things I noticed when I first started working good with him is that he had a hard time checking in with me. When he's on leash, he has the tendency to like be at the end of it, and he doesn't have a lot of what we call handler awareness. That's actually looking really nice right now, but I think kind of getting a haircut around his eyes at least will help make that a thing. So this right here is exactly what we're looking for, some nice handler awareness. So we're going to start from square one here and just get him doing some of the stuff that we work with in the partner program. Nice, he's already offering behavior. I think he's hungry. He's ready for breakfast. So we're going to talk about introducing the clicker. So I think for Keano, introducing a clicker is going to be a really helpful thing. He should remember it, no thank you, from the puppy program. So we're just going to kind of a nice conditioned response to his clicker. So one of the things that we use the clicker for is to release him from behaviors. So one of the things I think he might need a little bit of work on is his implied stays. So implied stays are what we use, it's built into all of his obedience. So when we ask him to sit or down or heel or place, his job is to do that thing until he is released. We have two ways to release him from behavior. We can say his release word, which is typically something like, okay, or break, or done, or all done, something like that. Or we can use the clicker, because if he is in position and I click, his job is to run over to me to get food. So we're going to practice some of his implied stays using the clicker as his release. And while he's in position, I'm going to use what we call his good reward marker, which is just good and good boy. I want to practice being able to pair it with food, but teach him that that doesn't mean that he's done with the position even though I've just fed him. So we're going to kind of do that. All right, Keano, sit. Good. So that good reward marker tells him we like what he's doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Good. I may or may not pair it with food. Good. But he's still in that position until he either hears his release word or the clicker. Perfect. And when he hears the clicker, he runs over to me to get food. Perfect. So we're going to do the same thing with his down and see where he's at. Down. Good. So I'm going to, Good. So same thing with the no reward marker. I'm using the no reward marker and I'm going to pair it with pressure. We'll talk about that too. We call that the recipe. Down. Good. And down could potentially be hard for him right now, because what I think would be a good topic to talk about for him is conditioned relaxation. So being in a position where the body's more likely to be calm is probably going to be harder for him. So down is harder than sit or stand, because in sit and stand he can spring into action, he can run and do the next thing. Down is a little bit more calm, and it seems like that's a little bit less fun for him. He's like, no, I don't want to go down. I want to look for food. That's not what I want to do. So I think this right here is kind of the epitome of where we're seeing issues that might be popping up in other places in his training. So the idea that he's kind of just like choosing whether he wants to do it or not, and building some clarity in his obedience to be able to say like, no, this is what you need to do, is going to be helpful for him. So we're going to help him out at this juncture here. Keano, down. Good boy. Good. So once he's all the way on the floor, I'm going to feed him. Good. Good. Perfect. All right, cool. I think I am going to go ahead and jump right into condition relaxation with him, and we're going to use pressure to kind of help get him there. So with condition relaxation, the first part of it, essentially the bigger picture is teaching him how to become calm on cue. The big picture is that we say something like, Keano, easy, and he kind of takes it, takes a deep breath, gets into a position like calms more, like he visibly kind of calms down and learns how to self-regulate on his own. To get him to that point, in order to teach him how to cognitively know how to become calm, we have to get him doing it on his own first and then name it for him. So if we can see him getting calm, we can name it and label it for him, and so that he starts to pick up, oh, this thing is what that means, got it. So the way that we do that is we usually use a little bit of physical pressure, and we gently but firmly help him get into a physical position that makes calm more likely to happen, so that we can eventually see it and name it. So right now he's going to sit. I'm going to see if I can use a little bit of very slight downwards pressure on him with the leash. I'm going to let him feel that for a minute before I help him out with the word down. Good. As soon as he starts, I feel him start to move down, I'm going to take the pressure off. If he doesn't go all the way down, I'll just reapply the pressure. So right now I've got pressure downwards on his leash. Sometimes when we see that the dog understands the behavior we want him to do, which I think is the case here, we can see what we call experimental success. So he knows down, he knows that I'm asking him to do down, but he's going to do some behaviors, and this is different for every dog, that would make it, he's like, I don't want to do it that way or the way that you're asking me. I don't want to do this behavior right now, so I'm going to offer you something else. Sometimes dogs will start sniffing the ground, they'll start looking off into space, they'll start licking you or offering appeasement behaviors. Yep, so he's licking me now. So he's kind of just saying like, I'm not going to do it, and he's kind of hoping that will make this go away. So it's important to kind of go through that and kind of let him exhaust that option. Like, no, like sniffing, ignoring me, doesn't make this go away. No, thank you, don't lick me. I love you. Good boy. So he's on his way there, good job. So right now he's in a down, but it's not a very calm down. I might need to move the camera in a second, but he's kind of like in a sphinx style down. He's rigid. What I'd like to see is that he can kind of kick a hip over, and eventually our goal is to get him all the way onto his side, all 4 feet touching the ground, head touching the ground, tail touching the ground. I'm going to move him right over here so we can see his position. We're going to get him back into that down. So you can see he's licking. We call that appeasement behavior. He's just experimenting right now to say like, I don't really like this pressure thing. I don't want to do this activity that we're doing, even though we're not doing anything crazy. No thanks. No thanks. Good boy. Nice. All right, so we're going to roll him over. And I'm not going to pin him down. So if he really gets really super squirrely, I might let him pop up, but I'm going to go right back into this because I don't want to teach him that being squirrely and nippy or anything like that gets him out of this. So I want to kind of roll him away from me. There we go. And I'm going to use my elbow on his neck a little bit. So right now what I'm doing is I've got my hand kind of on his elbow. There you go. And my forearm kind of resting on his neck just to kind of see if I can get him to settle. Good. And now I'm going to kind of break into some actual massage. So he's on his side, but he's got a ton of tension in his legs. So what I'm hoping to do right now is just see if I can get him to relax and calm. Good. Good. I'm going to go ahead and release him even though we're not quite as calm as he could be, but we just want to get some success here. Okay. Nice. So when I release him, I don't want to release him into another frenetic state. He struggles with getting overexcited. So we're just going to calmly release him, give him a second to maybe shake it off, and then we're going to go back into the behavior again. So I'm applying pressure. Good. I'm saying good because I can feel him yielding a little bit. I feel his muscles going in the right direction. Good. Good. Good for you. Good. Good. So it's important, like you'll notice I don't really repeat the command. I don't nag him. It's important in this stage of it to let him like work it out that like you can try to ignore me, but it's not going to work. So I'm letting him let him get distracted. So I'm just massaging his leg right now, and his neck, trying to see if I can get some relaxation in there. Good. 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 So a lot of times dogs will try to roll onto the rub my belly pose, and we don't necessarily want that because it's not very relaxed. It's more, a lot of times it's just kind of more silly. No, thank you. Good. 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 So this works on a lot of things, besides not only just like teaching the dog how to find calm, but it also teaches the dog how to tolerate being handled in such a way. So at some point, this teaches him how to yield to pressure and how to cope with pressure, where we're saying it's kind of like you must. So instead of spiraling, if he's having a really hard time at some point and he's really spiraling and he's too excited about something, I can use pressure to get him into like a sit or a down without him, and then maybe in that moment I need to use a lot of pressure because he's really excited. I don't want him to feel pressure in that moment where he's excited and have that add to his chaos, and he's going, I was already worked up about this and now you're pushing and pulling me and I don't understand how to turn it off or what that means. So this is a good way to practice, like right now this is the position you need to be in and I'm using pressure to keep you there, and he can kind of tolerate that. Good. So this leg's still a little wonky, but we're getting somewhere. Good. Okay, nice. The other thing I want to do is kind of, are you good, Mare? I want to marry this behavior with his with place. So I'm going to see how he's doing with place really quick. Oh, nice. Place. Good. Good. So ideally, I want to teach him how to do that conditioned relaxation on his own on place. Good. So I just kind of want to see what he's doing. He's already starting to whine, especially if I start to move away and walk away. But ideally, I want to teach him to go to place, and I think that's going to really be an important skill that he can do when we want to work on his polite greetings. So when people come over to the house or when situations are exciting, being able to have him go to place and learn how to cope with those things and not be able to get to them. For instance, like walking outside of the playroom. We worked on this the other day. Nice. Good. Daddy. Good. Good. So I think one of the things we'll work on is just having him learn how to settle on place. And I think that looks good. Good. He was thinking about it. Good. Yep. What happened to my video? Time for, I think I can wrap this up too. That's been a like 20-minute session. Good. Can you get easy? Good. Okay. She might be wet. All right, so we'll call that good.